All right. So guys, go deep or go home. That's where I'm at. That's kind of how I've always been. But I've been feeling very sensitive and very ashamed and holding a lot back in. And I'm trying not to do that anymore because it's not doing me any good. Doesn't help me. It doesn't help anyone else. So, as I'm getting ready for our Triggers to Treasures show and having conversations with Anuprava about our theme for today, I'm scared and excited. We're going to be talking about trauma and vulnerability and shame and availability, and it's like really, it's going to be a deep dive. I know me and I know Anuprava, and yeah, that's how she rolls too, man. So I'm in trusted hands. It's hard though, because it's like, I'm the love coach. I'm supposed to be showing up with all my shit together, and I'm supposed to have all this wisdom to share, and I feel like sometimes I'm just a mess, and that's all I have to share. And I'm so grateful that I have a beautiful team of co-hosts that I get to work with in all these shows, and helping me see the beauty in my mess, helping me find the treasures in the triggers. But so I wanted to make a video right now before the show because of the fact that I have stuff going on in my world that is deeply resonant with our topic, and I was already like feeling scared that I was going to be able to show up. And like now it's like there's a part of me that feels like, oh, I could show up in this. I feel like a little bit more confident that I could show up because like it's like I'm in it, but then the shame comes up of like, but I'm in the mess, like, so and fears of what are people gonna think of me if I tell them all these things about me. Yeah, so if you really knew me, you'd know that from the moment I came into this world up until the age of 21, I lived a very scary life. I was in the presence of a lot of violence and abuse in a lot of ways, and I've just experienced a lot of things in this body. I've always been very sensitive. When you grow up in a traumatic household and you grow up surrounded by trauma and toxicity and violence and drugs and alcohol, and you learn for safety that you have to project your energy really far out. Like you have to be hyper vigilant, hyper aware. You need to know what's going on, because you never know, like, what things just change, and you never know, like, it's just so, you got to be able to like read people, read through their lies, read through what they're not saying, through what they are saying. Yeah, I was a very smart child. I knew a lot of things that a child shouldn't know at a very young age. I had to make adult decisions at ages when I did not know how to make adult decisions. So, the reason why I'm bringing this up is my trauma body has been activated. Like, I've become aware, like, I know I have trauma and I'm highly sensitive, and now that I'm blind, I'm even more sensitive. And I'm just continuing to learn more and more about what it means to be Candace, and how do I do this, and how do I take care of myself. What are my needs? What are my triggers? But sometimes, not sometimes, there is a lot that's out of our control. And so for me, I still live in a neighborhood, well, not still, because I haven't lived in a neighborhood like this in a long time. I've lived in safe, quiet, family-oriented neighborhoods for at least the last, I don't know, but anyways. And I haven't lived in a not safe neighborhood while blind. This is my first time living in a violent, crime-ridden neighborhood as a blind person. And it just keeps coming to me like, I don't want to be here. I don't feel like I'm supposed to live in New Hampshire, for one. I don't feel like I should live in this neighborhood. I'm too fucking sensitive. The shit that I have to hear and the energy. So 5 days ago or something, Alexa, stop. I was woken up in the middle of the night to the sound of children screaming. I didn't know what was happening. As you can probably see my body, I'm having a full visceral experience right now. This is what it means to be a highly sensitive person. Alexa, stop. I'm mad at my fucking timer. What I woke up to was horrifying. I didn't even know what was happening. I just knew it was bad. And then the next day, one of the children came to my door. And the weird thing about this is they made a conscious choice to not go to their neighbors above them and below them, or my neighbors below me. They made a choice to come up to the 3rd floor at the house next door and ask for help. They came here asking if I could call the police because the guy that strangled his mom was back. Long story not short, this has really impacted me. So since then, I've been getting nightmares every night. I've been woken up by nightmares covered in sweat. And I just lost my cat Onyx. And so I'm grieving my cat Onyx. It's bringing up grieving of my past life and going blind, and just like, it just seems like everything's up. Like, and then there's Shawnee has stuff going on in their world, and me and Shawnee are having our own challenges, and it's just like, this is what I want to really talk about today. Like, how do we deal with life when it feels this intense? When there's how do you deal with being a highly sensitive person? How do you deal with having an extensive history of trauma? How do you deal with that and live in a trauma-ridden neighborhood? how, you know, one of the things I said to Anuprava this morning is like, you know, sometimes being in this body is just like really fucking intense. That's why I meditate and I dance and I do sound healing and I do all the things that I do and self-massage, because it's a lot. And that's why I take a lot of breaks from my devices. I put out a lot on social media and stuff, but I don't take in a lot. I can't. I don't have the capacity, you know, and that's another thing we're talking about, like, what are we actually available for within each given moment, and not judging ourselves within that, like, you know, just noticing and like, wow, today this is where I am, and I may not have that much availability, you know, and this is where I was yesterday, and I took space from Shawnee, and you know, sometimes I have to take space from different things because I just don't have the capacity. How do I do that and not judge myself? You know, I'm too sensitive, I'm too much, or all the stories I tell myself. Yeah. Wow, that was a lot. I'm really glad I did this because I needed to process and share. Had some great conversations with Mimi Radiance this morning, and it's been a good morning. That's not to say I haven't dealt with intense emotions this morning. I cried a lot this morning, but from a less like weighed down, heavy, more unconditionally loving, non-judgmental, permissive way. Yeah, I feel like I'm giving myself a little bit more space and permission to be my messy self. Yeah, so au revoir. Gotta go get ready for the show. I don't even know if I was really in the camera